Great. This is a point of annoyance for me. It's not a problem, but it's something that is annoying. All of the cables and everything behind the couch, the power switch, and you can see Dexter back there, is kind of annoying because I don't like having everything exposed. The cats are constantly chasing each other back there, and I've had them actually step on the power strip a couple times. I just want to get this cleaned up. The biggest issue I have is them getting caught up in the cables and unplugging the charging cable for my phone and other things. So let's see what we can do to fix that. With having access to the school shop again, I can do all of the pre-milling there, save myself the mess, and just make it easier for the projects that I have to work on. For longer panels like this, I do like adding dominoes just to help with the alignment and make sure that they stay flat during glue up. All right, while this dries, I can go ahead and get a couple boards glued together, which are going to be used to create the legs. After letting everything dry overnight, I can go ahead and get everything cleaned up and get the blanks for the legs cut out. Now I can get this trimmed down to the final dimension. All right, here I am getting the legs marked out to where they're going to sit and where I need to inset the legs into the top panel. Now that I know where the legs are going to be, I can go ahead and get these cut down to the final length for the legs and get them ready to dado out where they're going to slide into the top panel. I wanted to try something a little bit different with these, and so I am dadoing them out to more or less fit into a half lap on the top panel with a 1/4 inch button that will stick up on the top. All right, with the legs dated out, I can go ahead and start planning exactly where they're going to set into the top panel and make sure that I can get the measurements correct for the half lap. And here you can see exactly where I need to notch out the top panel for the legs to set into. At some point, I really do need to get my vise set up. However, I did find a workaround that will work for some projects. And using the pocket hole clamps actually did a really good job of holding these still so I can get these cut out. A little bit of chisel work, cleaning up the edges, cleaning out the indents where the legs are going to set into. And we're getting closer to putting this thing together. And it's time to test with these and make sure they actually line up the way they're supposed to and they're flush with the edge. And here I'm getting all the legs glued in place and getting ready for the final assembly. I apologize for the bad camera angle. I didn't realize when I moved the camera that I actually didn't adjust the lens to be more centered on what I'm doing. But here I'm getting the top panel put in place and just adding the last little bit of glue and the last leg. And we'll let this thing dry for a while. All right, I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit until that. I need to fix a couple corners where the wood chipped out, but I made sure that those pieces were saved so that I could have to do that. And I mentioned we need to do some beveling on the buttons on the top and do some additional sanding. In hindsight, I should have done beveling on these before I glued everything together. It would have been a lot easier. But my little plane here did a very good job of getting a 45-degree angle on these so I can be able to get them sanded down and ready to go. I decided I wanted to add a wrap to the end of this yesterday. I did that off camera. It's just simply cut at a 30-degree angle, glued in place, and of course I got it stained. And I got the carpet wrapped around this. I didn't film this. I just completely forgot to hit record. Thought I was recording, but that didn't quite happen. But as you can see, this has turned out the way I want it. Next time I do something like this, however, if I'm doing legs where I have this raised button or something like that sitting on the top of it, definitely need to use a harder wood, something other than poplar, and that way it doesn't fracture and crack. But the places that did fracture and crack, as you can tell, I was able to get those repaired, and unless you look really closely, you don't even see it. So let's go ahead and get the carpet on the bottom cleaned up, get that trimmed up. I'm going to put a hard wax oil on the main surface just to help make it easier to clean. And then we'll get this put in place after it sets for another 24 hours. With this in place, as you can see, all the cables are hidden. You don't see them. The cats are no longer getting tangled up in them. I'm not able to step on any of the switches for the power strip. And they have a little bit of an ambush platform to work with as well. And this solves several problems. I no longer have power cables getting snagged and pulled out of the outlet or off of the end table that's sitting beside the couch. This will be something I can take with me and put in the new place when I move and continue to be useful because of the style of the couch and the way that it's set up. So hopefully this gives you an idea of something that you might be able to do. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. If you will like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. That way we can get my channel growing a little bit more and show other people what I'm doing. And I will see you on the next video. Have a wonderful day.